2024 is going to be a big year, I think. If everything goes as it's kind of expected to go, and we get ETF approval in January, that will be great for the market. We'll see, we'll see. I think we'll see big price action for Bitcoin, and I think that will eventually feed into ETH and altcoins. So, a spot ETF will definitely, I think, pump the market. 2024 is going to be big. Crypto is slowly but surely getting past some of these big hurdles. There is so much good news on the horizon.
The cryptocurrency bulls have emerged with full force, encompassing not only traders but also influential analysts who consistently express bullish sentiments. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index has been firmly in the greed zone for at least a month, signifying widespread optimism. The prevailing consensus is that the crypto market has successfully weathered the challenges of the crypto winter and is poised for favorable months in 2024. The excitement is twofold, driven first by the anticipation of a spot Bitcoin ETF approval early in 2024. Credible sources suggest a high likelihood of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission approving ARK Invest's Bitcoin ETF application by January 10, 2024, the final deadline. The second element fueling anticipation is the 2024 Bitcoin halving event projected for April 2024. The potential ETF approval is expected to attract thousands of institutional investors, boosting demand for Bitcoin, while the halving event will impact the cryptocurrency's supply. This dual catalyst has prompted numerous influential figures in the cryptocurrency space, including Coin Bureau's Guy Turner, to express exceptionally bullish sentiments. In a recent interview with Altcoin Daily, Turner foresees 2024 as not just a massive bull market for crypto but possibly one of the last great crypto bull runs.
Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop your comment and observations in the comment section below. Thanks and enjoy the video.
Another thing to look out for, I think, is in March, when SBF is sentenced. Now, obviously, he's been found guilty. That chapter is kind of closing. But I do think that could be a big moment, that, we get that sort of final closure on SBF. He's sent off to prison for however long. And I hope that that moment sort of changes people's outlook on crypto, because this has been such a huge story. When you step out of the crypto bubble, everyone else, the only thing they're really aware of when it comes to crypto is FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. And I think hopefully putting that to bed, so to speak, will be a moment where people sort of focus, on more positive aspects of crypto. We should hopefully have an ETF by that point. And then, of course, the following month, April, is when the halving is scheduled to happen. And historically, this has been a narrative that mainstream media are kind of better able to understand with Bitcoin. The supply gets cut in half. So those supply and demand dynamics come into play. That is a fairly easy narrative to understand. It's a fairly easy narrative to report on. So I would hope, what with a potentially, most likely spot ETFs available for Bitcoin, Sam Bankman-Fried not troubling us for many decades to come, and the halving, I would think that should hopefully change the narrative around Bitcoin and crypto more widely. And I think that is when we can start really sort of dreaming of a proper bull market coming around. I think now is the time to buy Bitcoin. I really do. I bought some myself recently. I topped up my stack a few days ago. Obviously, I wish I'd done it sooner. Maybe when it was chopping around sort of 25K and no one was really interested or paying attention. But then suddenly this ETF narrative came along and caught a lot of people, myself included, by surprise. But yeah, look, we've got big institutional players lining up, and the reason that they're lining up is because their clients want it. BlackRock is filing for a spot Bitcoin ETF because its clients have asked them for it, and ditto all these other asset managers as well. There is huge pent-up demand for Bitcoin, and when these ETFs launch, they may not be, out of the gates, they may not be kind of what everyone's expecting. I'm not sure if we would kind of shoot to new all-time highs straight away. But yeah, over time, more and more people are going to want exposure to Bitcoin. There is a lot of money sitting there that will eventually get allocated to Bitcoin. And I think, we will look back and go, do you remember when Bitcoin was below 40K? Wow. So I think now is perhaps as good a time as any. In order to keep your sanity and not sort of be constantly refreshing the Bitcoin charts, I would just DCA. I would just allocate a certain amount that you can afford to lose, of course, but a certain amount that you can afford, either maybe every week or every month, and you just go in at that particular point regardless. And that is a strategy that's been proven to work pretty well. And so if you're not sure, you just allocate regardless of what the price is doing. You build your stack slowly and steadily. And that, I think, is a good idea, especially for people who don't want to kind of dive head first into crypto and completely immerse themselves in that world, because that is a fairly big commitment. If some people just want exposure to Bitcoin, dollar cost averaging, DCAing slowly is as good a way as any.
There is no question that the current surge in the cryptocurrency market marks the onset of mainstream adoption for digital currencies, particularly Bitcoin. Institutions are actively entering the space, and this time, the entry of BlackRock is particularly noteworthy. BlackRock boasts an almost flawless record of ETF approvals from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, with only 1 out of 576 applications denied, and even that denial was later overturned by the Commission. Moreover, BlackRock has publicly expressed its strong interest in fully engaging with the digital asset space, beginning with the introduction of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Given BlackRock's standing as the world's largest asset manager, its preferences are likely to carry significant weight. Anticipating a broader trend, the regulator is expected to greenlight other spot Bitcoin ETFs to underscore its commitment to fairness, even in an industry where such assurances may be scarce. The era of uncertainties and skepticism surrounding the cryptocurrency industry seems to be fading, and there is a growing confidence that the industry will not only endure but thrive despite persistent challenges. In a recent interview with Altcoin Daily, Turner also shared his positive outlook for Ethereum in 2024, aligning with his bullish stance on Bitcoin. The interview features additional insights from Turner on these topics.
Not really. I've always been bullish on Ethereum. I think Ethereum is, it's a very different thing to Bitcoin. I think this is an important thing for people new to the space to understand. People talk about there being competition between Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's like they're very different things. Ethereum is this network upon which so much of this layer one upon which so much of crypto is built. Whereas Bitcoin at the moment is kind of more that store of value narrative, even though we're seeing, exciting things like ordinals come along and change the game a little bit. But yeah, Ethereum underpins so much of the crypto ecosystem. And even if you're not a fan of Ethereum, even if you prefer some of the other layer one blockchains out there, or you're more of an interoperability person, you like those layer zero projects like Cosmos, for example. Even if you don't like Ethereum, you can't get away from the fact that a huge amount of the crypto ecosystem is built upon it. And yes, Ethereum still has a lot of work to do. Yes, gas fees are insanely high, really. It's much cheaper to do a lot of this stuff on other blockchains, sure. But the amount of development going on in the Ethereum ecosystem is just staggering. And so, although I think a spot ETH ETF is going to be great news, it's obviously going to help with ETH's price in the long term. I think what's more important is how much is happening on Ethereum. Now, recently we've seen network activity on Ethereum take a bit of a dip, and ETH actually went inflationary again. It now seems to be picking up again, but there is all this competition from those other layer ones. But I've been bullish on Ethereum's future for as long as I can remember, and that hasn't changed. It's still got a lot of challenges to do. But I mean, look, last year with the merge, this huge transition from proof of work to proof of stake, the Ethereum team pulled that off. It worked, this massive, massive change to the network. So I'm confident that they're going to be able to handle all the other changes, all the other developments, further evolution that needs to happen in Ethereum. So, yeah, I think an ETH ETF is interesting, but it doesn't change my outlook much for Ethereum. I mean, ETH tends to lag Bitcoin by one cycle. But certainly, as you say, the tokenomics have changed so much, and now the more Ethereum gets used, the more ETH gets burned, and therefore the less there is available. So In terms of price, I mean, where are we now? We're sort of hovering around the $2,000 mark. I think we could go to top of the next cycle. I think we could go sort of, I would be targeting around 5K sort of minimum. But I think it could get as high as maybe, I'm not sure 10K necessarily. I think it could get as high as maybe 8K at the top of this cycle. One thing I think is worth bearing in mind, though, is that even though we've got all this network activity happening on Ethereum, we've also got all these layer twos building on Ethereum as well, which don't necessarily result in the burning of ETH. So that could be something to bear in mind. But again, it all feeds into just how massive Ethereum is. So yeah, I'm confident that there are bright days ahead for Ethereum, and yeah, whether we get to 10K, I'm not sure, but I think 5K would be fairly not too unrealistic.
Meanwhile, the anticipation surrounding the 2024 bull market continues to rapidly proliferate. Former New York Stock Exchange President Tom Farley recently conveyed bullish sentiments in an interview with CNBC. Farley discussed the potential ramifications of a spot Bitcoin ETF on the broader cryptocurrency market. According to him, the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF by the SEC would trigger a significant influx of capital into the industry. He emphasized that people's belief in Bitcoin as a groundbreaking invention would drive substantial investment, deeming the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF as a positive development for the entire industry. When queried about the current state of the crypto market, Farley expressed his belief that the bull market has already commenced and foresees it expanding further in 2024. This aligns with the positive outlook shared by Turner and others. What are your thoughts on Farley's and Turner's projections for the cryptocurrency market in 2024? Please share your comments below. For more daily dose crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.